Let us begin. Tabu kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Sravanamangalam Srimadatatam Bhuvignantiye Bhurida Janaha. We were reading Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He is quoting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is telling that the name of God has very great sanctity. Ishare Namer Bhari Mahatma. And this name of God only, most of the time we think, how the name of God that we are repeating just casually and not with so much of attention, will it be fruitful? Always the gurus, they will be asking, you must be very, very careful when you are taking the name of God, repeating the name of God. Try to concentrate, try to meditate. You are repeating the name of God, at the same time you should try to meditate on that particular God or goddess or the Ishta Devata Devi. But even then, Sri Chaitanya is telling, sometimes some people casually, jokingly, they will be taking the name of God. Even the scriptures are telling that some people will be keeping the name of their children in the name of God, so that when they are calling the children, at least. But if they are aware, conscious, that they are calling, repeating the name of the God, Holy God, that also will bear fruit. So much power in the name of God. So Hari's name, Chaitanya said, the name of God has very great sanctity. It may not produce an immediate result, but one day it must bear fruit. And here we find Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling that name of God has very great sanctity. Ishare Name Bhari Mahatma. Krite yad vyayato Vishnum Tritayam yajato makhaihi Dwapare paricharjayam Kalu tadvri kirtanat. In the Bhagavad 12th Skanda, it says that at the age of Satya, worshipping of Vishnu, that was sufficient. People used to do that. Krite yad vyayato Vishnum. And this Vishnu means all pervading God. Vistareti Vishnuho. The Vishnu doesn't mean only that form, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, not that form. That is only to have the conception, that we can at least have some conception. But here it says that it is the Vishnu, all pervading God. In the Satya Yuga, they used to worship Vishnu. Krite yad vyayato Vishnu Tritayam yajato makhaihi. In the age of Treta, practicing Jnana path, the path of Jnana. Tritayam yajato makhaihi Dwapare paricharjayam. And in the Dwapar Yuga, performing yajna, performing sacrifices. Because by that way people used to get the merits. And we know that the Bhagavan Buddha, he went against that only. It became so much. For everything, anything and everything, they used to do, performing yajna, spending so much of money. Even in India, in different, particularly in South, we find that they are very fond of yajnas. There's nothing wrong, but at this age, in the Kali Yuga, in the modern age, every time in the Hindu scripture, they have divided the whole this period in 4 groups: Satya, Treta, Dapar, Kali. And the Kali, Tarati Kirtanat. And Tarati means the benefit of those yugas of the performing the Vishnu, that means the meditating of the great, all-pervading God. Then it is the path of jnana, discrimination. Then the path of yajna, performing yajnas. And these yuga only taking the name of God. This is the beauty, this is the speciality people should understand. The speciality is taking the name of God. At the age of Kali, by repeating the holy name of God, Kalu tad tarati kirtanat. Almost the same thing, same words, Vishnu Purana also repeating. Now we quote it from the Bhagavad, is the Vishnu Purana. It also says the merit that people used to get by meditation in the Satya, that Vishnu performing yajnas, sacrifices in Treta, performing archanas or worship in Dwapara, the same result can be achieved in the Kali by repeating the name of God. Dhyayan krite yajan yaggai stritayam dapare archanam yad apnoti tad apnoti. Yad what? Apnoti achieved, tad that same thing, apnoti kalau. In this age, sankirta keshavam, just by repeating the name of God. So that is the power in the name of God. What we have to do? We have only to have faith. Faith on whom? Faith in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or such people, because they have achieved the same thing. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna never stopped taking the name of God. And then afterwards, he found that Raja Maharaj, Swami Brahmananda ji, his name was Rakhal Maharaj, he used to go on taking the name of God, repeating the name of God. His lips used to go on taking the name of God. He never stopped. And that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna sometimes used to say that if I look at Raja, I go in Samadhi, because he is taking the name of God. When you will see that somebody is sitting over here taking the name of God, immediately you will feel, oh, I am not taking the name. That will be, you will feel reminded. Immediately within your mind also, you will feel like taking the name of God. And then afterwards, again we forget, again we see something, again. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, every nook and corner of your house you should hang the pictures of gods and goddesses, the holy people. Because wherever you look, you will see them. And immediately you will find that name is coming. But he said, no, Rajagani people, those the people of that Raja. Again, the Hindus, they have categorized the human character Sattik, Rajasic, Tamasic. The Sattik, very quietly, calmly, without the notice of the others, they will go on taking the name of God, meditating. People won't understand what they are doing. And the Rajasic, they are show off. They will be having all the malas and the rudrakshas here, there, tilaka. So I am doing something people should know. And the tamasic they do for something else. But bhakti also having the tamas. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is dhyayan kriti yajan yaggais trita tritayam dwapare archanam. Dhyayan kriti yajan, dhyayan kriti in the Satya Yuga meditation. Yajan yaggais tritayam. Then in the yajna, the performance of all sacrifices in the Treta. Dwapare archanam. then the performance of puja and so much of things. Then the Ardha Kumbha Snana, Purna Kumbha Snana, these and that, so many things they will be doing. And they are so happy. And whole day the Archana will go on. Yad apnati tad apnoti kalau sankirta keshavam. I have seen one Swami, very great Swami, he has translated a very difficult scripture. That time he was in charge of Patna. I was a brahmachari, we went over there. We used to sell books because Advaita Asrama, our only work was selling books. There was no puja, nothing. Only meditation, that too without the help of any picture. Secretly, within our room, we used to burn the incense sticks just to encourage ourselves for meditations. Otherwise, nothing, no external thing. So that was sometimes difficult, but afterwards it has come to me so much. So then afterwards, what happened when you grow in that, and 12 years is not a small time. So afterwards, it's difficult to adjust with the Dvaita. But in Ramakrishna mission, you should be ready for anything. So here, that is difficult, but we are performing now Thakur. One of our Swamiji, he was a very strong Advaita Vedantin. And he was the follower of Advaita Vedantin. And he was in the Advaita Asrama, he was so happy, his life was also like that. Then he became the president of Mother's house. And Mother's house means from 3:30 morning, night 9:30, puja and puja. And he was there ultimately. And the last moment he was taking the name of Mother. So both we have to be ready. You will wonder, in the Ramakrishna mission, the direct disciple of Swami Vivekananda, who was the first president in Advaita Asrama, when he used to come to Belur Math, he never looked at the temple. And at the time of the Khandana, the evening Arati, he used to close the door and window so that he should not listen to those things. So that image that should not come in his mind, so much so. And he used to meditate inside the deep jungle of Himalaya. If you go to Mayavati, that cottage is there. They made a cottage where he used to meditate. And one day, that was not a cottage, open. Then Mother Savior, that she was there, the British lady, then she put one a tent type of thing. The son, you are going over there, nothing, and there's full of tigers inside the jungle. One day so happened, he didn't return back to ashrama. So the people, in the midnight, they all went in search of him and found that before his tent, one tiger is sitting, perhaps waiting for him to come out. He was at least that courtesy was there for the tiger. I should not enter without knocking or without permission. So perhaps the tiger was having that courtesy, and the tiger was waiting for him to come out, and he didn't come out. He was there inside that camp. So then Mother made a wooden room, so that was his courage. So this way the Vedanta, but the name of God is so powerful. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling it is very, very few that they can practice pure Advaita, very difficult. But for the ordinary people, for all people, taking the name of God, easy. And here he is telling that yadapnoti tadapnoti kalu in this Kali Yuga. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling that once again, he is repeating this. One must take the firm attitude. When we are taking the name of God, one must take the firm attitude. How? Master is taking. A man endowed with tamasic bhakti has burning faith. In the bhakti, he is appreciating tamasic, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic bhakti. What type of tamasic bhakti? is all the time very, very aggressive. I have taken the name of God. Why the God should not appear before me? That type of demand and a tremendous faith. And Sri Ramakrishna is very happy. Once Girish Chandra Ghosh came to meet Ma Saradamani Devi in Bagbajar, and mother returned back. That was a summer time. There was a scorching heat. Mother came back, little exhausted, tired. She wanted to take rest. So obviously her companions, they were asking Girish Ghosh that you should not go now, mother is going to take rest. Then Girish pushed her aside, telling, of course Girish was a little different type. He used the very harsh words. You have not given birth to any child, how you will know? The mother gets comfort by seeing the face of a child, but the face of a son. If I go to the mother, mother will be more comforted than taking rest. You won't understand that because you are not a mother. Then he pushed that lady aside, and when she started crying and complaining to mother, and he went up and met the mother. Mother was happy. And when he came back, of course, very quietly and gentle as was his nature, Saradanandaji Maharaj, who used to tell himself that I am the gatekeeper of the mother, Dari, Mair Dari, gatekeeper. So he also told, now just mother has returned, perhaps she will take rest. Girish didn't listen to him. And then second this, then he met, mother was happy. And when Girish came down, satisfied, happy, then this Saradanandaji told him, this should be the devotion. The devotion should be like this. Why you should not allow me to go? I must go. He is having the fight with that. So here we find again another incident is there. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was very sick and no one was allowed to go. Then one actress, Binodini, she was eager to go and meet and first she was an actress, second she was a lady, and of course no one was allowed to go. And she thought, how can I go? Then as because she was an actress, she dressed herself just like an European gentleman and covered her face with a big hat and the coat and the trouser and all this. She went over there, and the Swami who was in guard couldn't understand that this is a lady and thought that okay, this person has come, the European wants to see from distance and won't be able to converse with Thakur. So Thakur won't be disturbed, allowed him to go. When she entered, this Swami, young man, could not recognize her. The moment she entered, Thakur recognized and was very happy. You have come in this dress, is very good. Immediately Sri Ramakrishna recognized her and he was happy. So this is the tama, the demand, and Sri Ramakrishna is singing this song. Just when he said like this, I don't know the actual tune, but I feel like just a line to sing. Gaya Ganga Prabhashadi Kashi Kanchi Ke Bachai. Master Mahashaya is writing over here. The master began to sing in a voice sweet with rapturous love. Gaya Ganga Prabhashadi Kashi Kanchi Ke Bachai. Kali 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 Bole Amar. Kali 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 Bole Amar. Ajapa Jadi Purai. Who cares to go to the pilgrimage of Ganga, Gaya, Kashi, Kanchi, all the very famous pilgrimage center? If I go on taking the name of Kali, why should I have to visit all those places? All they will come to me. So that is the demand. And then again Sri Ramakrishna is singing. The master was beside himself with love for the Divine Mother, and he sang with fiery enthusiasm. If only I can pass away repeating Durga's name, how can't thou then, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance? You have to save me. Durga, Durga, Durga bole ma jodi mori, আখেরে এ দিনে না তারও কেমনে দেখা যাবে গো শঙ্করী. No religion will teach you like this. It's just challenging the God. I will take your name and I will die. Let me see. How can you not come to rescue me? So that is the tremendous faith. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, this is tamaguna, the bhakta, tamaguni bhakta, the devotion of tamaguna. This way he is going on telling, and we find the same way. What I have chanted the mother's name, and why she should not come. In the Brihad Vishnu Puran, it also says, Namnasya javati shakti papa nirharane harehe tavat kartum na shaknoti patakam pataki janaha. No sinner can accumulate that much sin which cannot be redeemed by the repetition of God's name. And this has been in the life of our great sage, who was a dacoit, who used to kill people, rob people, Ratnakar. This Ratnakar Dashu, he became Valmiki. Just by taking the name of God. Even his tongue was not ready to particularly, perfectly pronounce the word Rama. Rather, it was easy for him to pronounce Mara. Rama, Mara. And then his guru said, okay, that will also do. Go on repeating that name. And then slowly, but look at it. He sat and never stood up, went on taking the name of God. Then the bulky, and it came and covered the whole body. And someone was passing, the Narada himself, I think he was passing, he heard the name coming out, Rama, Rama, Rama. Where from it is coming? And he saw is covered with the mud. From there, he broke it and found out that Rishi. So his name became Valmiki. He was Ratnakara, dacoit, the shoe. So these are the names, the power of names. I think I told you one story of that our Mahavir. The Mahavir's mother, Anjana, she gave the word to another gentleman, another king, that my son will protect you from the hand of Rama. Of course, she was not knowing who is going to kill that man. The king came running to that lady and told, Mother, please protect me. And because the Hanuman, her son, naturally, she told, oh, don't bother. My son is there, Hanuman, very powerful, nobody can touch you. Then afterwards, she thought, but who is your enemy? Then he said, Rama. Oh my God, you should have said it earlier. My son is a devotee of Rama. How can he save you? Then the Hanumana came to hear about that and said, Mother, once you have given the word, we must keep the word. You need not to bother about, I will take care. Then Hanumana made his body huge and put him in that, with that big tail, he made a protected house as a strong house or house room. And then that gentleman was there inside. Hanumana was sitting over that. There was no small way even to go. But Rama, he came out to kill that man. And in between, Narada came, always giving information this side, that side. Then Narada came and told Rama, why you are taking so much of trouble searching for that man? Why don't you send your arrow, taking the name of that person? Your arrow will go and search and kill. Like that nowadays they have developed in such a one rocket, the specifically it will go and hit that particular point. So like that Rama also threw that, and it came back. Second time came back, third time came back. So what is happening? Why it is not hitting? Then Narada told, because Ram knew, Narada must be knowing. Then Narada, what is this? Why I cannot find that person? Then Narada told, you cannot hit yourself. Your arrow cannot hit you. My arrow cannot hit me? What do you mean? Now Hanumana is protecting that person. But how can he protect him? He has now formed himself as Rama. He is taking your name in such a way, whole body, mind, it has become Ramachandra. So right from the beginning of the tail up to the head, it is nothing but you, Rama. So your arrow cannot touch you. So this is the power of God's name. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, one has to take this. The quality of tamas can be used for the welfare of others, he is telling. So the quality of tamas is bad, but at the same time, the quality of tamas, that is, I must do it, I must get it, I must achieve it. That can be transformed for the realization of God. And that is why we find these people, they get realization very fast. Sattvic people they get, and tamasic people they get. Rajasic, for them it takes time. And that is the reason here the tamasic people, they were bad, but suddenly the tamasic man turned his face towards God, and now is saying like this, one must take the firm attitude. What? I have chanted the mother's name, how can I be sinner anymore? I am her child. Then Sri Ramakrishna is telling, there are three types of religious teachers. And he is also mentioning that there are three types of physicians. The superior, then mediocre and inferior physicians. The physician who feels the patient's pulse and says to him, take the medicine regularly. It belongs to the inferior class. They only suggest and then they forget about the medicine. He doesn't care to inquire whether or not the patient has actually taken the medicine. The mediocre physician is he who is in various ways persuade the patient to take the medicine and says to him sweetly, my good man, how will you be cured unless you use the medicine? Take this medicine. I have made it for you myself. Ma Sharadamani Devi, when she was suffering at his old age, last ages, so she used to refuse to take the medicine. In those days, medicine means mostly very bitter. And she used to refuse. And the Saradanandaji Maharaj, naturally they used to go and take inform the Saradanandaji, reporting to Saradanandaji, mother is not taking the medicine, she is refusing, what to do? Then Saradanandaji used to come, never asked her to take the medicine. Then he used to sit and talking about different things. Then suddenly she will say that medicines are so bitter, it's so difficult to take, isn't it, mother? The mother will say, that's true. But you know, if you take a little, then you will be all right. You need not to suffer anymore. Is it? Then she will say, just like a small little girl, she will say, okay, then you pour. Then Saradanandaji will help her to take the medicine. The mother will say afterwards, look at my son, he is so good. he will be always talking sweetly to me. And look at these ladies, they will be forcing me to take. So this is the way one has to handle. Even the gurus and the good, then afterwards the person who is a good teacher, how he is teaching. Now the religious teachers also, the inferior teacher only gives instruction to the disciple and make no inquiries about their progress. Mostly what happened, they will be giving the initiation and they forget whom they have given the initiation, whether they are taking the name or not, and you know that oh, he came or she came, I have given the initiation, and this is up to them whether they will take the name or not. Never inquire whether they are making progress or not. But look at Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, how he used to do. He was a very hard taskmaster. He used to call his disciples, he used to keep them with him and observe when they are getting up, when they are meditating, how much they are meditating, and looking at their face, he used to understand whether their meditation is perfect or not. Even the Raja Maharaj, or the first president of the Ramakrishna order, he used to go and see how the brahmacharis, now in a big number, so it is difficult to see individually. So he used to go in the morning to see how they are working. If you are working perfectly and with humbleness, Raja Maharaj used to say, then he will be used to go and check how they have the dressing the vegetables. He will be taking the skins of the vegetables and see, and then sometimes he will show it to others. I don't know who has done it. This is a potato skin, and he peeled in such a way only the thin skin has come out and no potato at all. The one who can do it can meditate well, and naturally others used to get inspiration. Baburam Maharaj also used to go, and they came running to him. Maharaj, once brahmachari has cut his finger. Then Baburam Maharaj came and said, I asked you to cut the potatoes, not your finger. You reckless one, go out from here. Instead of getting the sympathy, he got all the scolding. Why? Because you are not attentive. So that was too much they used to look after. Now it is in lakhs, disciples all over the world. How they will know? They pray to God Almighty. And they say, they have taken the name from me, but I do not know how they are behaving. But of course, those who are having the contact with our gurus, they must take care. That is why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Sometimes in the foreign countries, number of disciples are not much. So it is the responsibility of the gurus to take care. And that is the reason they do not take back the Swamis after their retirement back to India. Sometimes some Swami, they almost forcefully they go back, and otherwise they always allow them to stay over here to take care of the disciples. That is the reason they never force. Once you are posted over there, you are posted the all life. Why? In India, they change us in different years, and sometimes we can also give the option. But in America and Europe and the outside countries where the Swamis are empowered to give initiation, they do not get changed. Why? This is the reason. You are supposed to take care of your children, of your disciples. So this what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling. There are three types of religious teacher. The inferior teacher only gives instruction to the disciple but makes no inquiries about their progress. The mediocre teacher, for the good of the student, makes repeated efforts to bring the instruction home to him, begs him to assimilate it, and shows him love in many other ways. One of our presidents, Swami Gahonananda Ji Maharaj, when I was posted in the northeastern state in Arunachal Pradesh, and hundreds they will be taking initiation, hundreds. and there will be so much so, almost like a competition to get the initiation. So many hundreds all over. Now he told me, he called me, that was his last visit. And he was in Cherrapunji, I was in Narottam Nagar, and it took me 10 hours drive to reach there. Phone call came, Swamiji wants to meet you. Early morning I started, without stop I reached. That time it was almost 8:39, it was time for him to go to bed. So they allowed me to go inside the room, he was lying down. I told Swamiji, I am a little late, I am sorry. And he turned to me and said, I called you for one thing. See, we give names to the disciples, to the devotees, but we have no time and opportunity to take care. You go around in every places and give them some idea how they should develop the spiritual life. So, Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru. So, in India, the in charges, Swamis, they take care of these disciples, because the gurus are giving initiation, but they cannot keep direct contact. We go, we talk to them, we call them, we organize the Bhakta Sammelan, and we always in different way try to tell them how they should develop their spiritual. So this tradition is going on. So here Sri Ramakrishna is telling that, but there is a type of teacher who goes to the length of using force when he finds the student persistently unyielding. I call him the best teacher. So this is a different type of teachers, different type of physicians, different type of, like this it goes. Then a Brahmo devotee asking a question, Sir, has God form or has he none? Now when we hear this question, we know the answer, of course from Sri Ramakrishna himself. And we find why they are asking this question again and again. But think of the time. That was a time when people were confused, because everywhere they were discussing, particularly a group of people, how God, who is all pervading everywhere, can take the form. Because the moment the God is taking the form, it is becoming finite. And when it is becoming the finite, how can it be infinite again? The moment it is a finite, it has a form, it has a name, it has a time, it is a cause, effects. Obviously, it is going to be destroyed. So, God cannot take the form. And that was the argument, and most of our people, they were not getting the answer, they were confused. And that is why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the very first thing he did, he worshipped goddess Kali. Kali was the goddess most people criticized. Any educated person, they used to shun Kali. Oh my God, how can you worship? Because that was the way they were talking about the goddess Kali. Sri Ramakrishna proved it, and then he said, when the Brahma devotee, why the Brahma Samaj came? There was Prarthana Samaj, Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj, and all these Samaj and the groups, they came only to protect the Hindus from the conversion. Because majority of the people were getting converted into Christianity, not understanding what is the actual root of Hinduism. So they were confused. So this is the reason it says, then the Master Sri Ramakrishna is giving the answer. No one can say with finality that God is only this. Look at it. How he is answering to this Brahma devotee, and nothing else. No one can say with finality that God is only this and nothing else. The moment we say the God is only formless, that means God cannot take the form? That means God has limited power, and the moment we say God is all powerful, so obviously we are accepting that God can do anything and everything. If that, then God can take the form also. Why not? As a long before, the Christianity also used to think like this, that God can come to anyone, it can take any form. In the Philokalia, there is a book of the great saints of the Orthodox Church of Soviet Russia. They are mentioning like this. And the stories are also there in the Christian world. The one person, he was a very faithful Christian, and he used to pray to God, will you please come to me someday so that I can see you? But I do not know how I will recognize you. He was a cobbler, and he had a very humble shop, and that was in the basement. Only he could see the feet of the people, that it is walking. Only he could watch from his that room. And the God said, on such and such day I will come. Then he was wondering, he was watching, so many people came. Then at the last he found a person almost dragging his feet, passing that his place. He could see that his leg is bleeding. It was snow all over, and he was not having a good shoe to protect his feet. Then he came out and said, my good man, will you please give your shoe? I will mend it right now. I will give you a new shoe. Otherwise, you are going to lose your leg. It is very bad shape now. Then that poor man gave him that, and he was standing before his window. He could see again and again those feet. Then he very quickly mended that shoe and almost knew. He gave it to him, went back, sat for prayer and complained to God. You promised that you will come, but you didn't come there. I couldn't see you. Why then you promised? The God then replied, you not only saw me, you touched my feet and you gave me a new shoe. Do you remember that? Immediately, because that man was standing just before his window, he could see that two God's, the divine feet. He can remember now. So meditate on that. Now this way the Christian world also having the mystical stories. The God comes in different forms. Why not? So that is what Sri Ramakrishna is replying. No one can say with finality that God is only this and nothing else. He is formless, again he has forms. For the bhakta he assumes forms, but he is formless for the jnani, that is, for him who looks on the world as a mere dream. The bhakta feels that he is one entity and the world another. Therefore, God reveals himself to him as a person. The bhakta feels that, I repeat, the bhakta feels that he is one entity and the world another. So the difference, this is the world and I am different. Therefore, God reveals himself to him as a person. But the jnani, the Vedantist, for instance, always reasons, applying the process of not this, not this. Neti, neti, na iti. So, neti, neti. The jnanis will always say, not this, and then ultimately will reach over there. But Bhakta says, Iti, Iti, is all my God, is all my God, is all my God. Why not? And that is the joy. Every time anything he or she is looking at, oh, this is the manifestation of God. This is this way, that is that way. Why should it be? That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, I don't like to become the sugar. I want to enjoy the sugar. And different name, different form, different taste, different shape, that is the best way. And Bhakta likes it. But the Jnani, no. The God is all pervading Chaitanya, he is meditating on the light and nothing there. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, very few people can do that. But most of you don't try. For you, bhakti is the best. Then he is telling, if you listen to the flute, sometime there will be one only in the saptam. Saptam is sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Over that only he will be playing. He never comes back. And after some time it becomes boring. But so many holes are there, so many different tunes are coming up. Why don't you enjoy it? So that way he is inspiring us to become bhakta, because this is the time one realizes God easily through bhakti. So this what he is telling. For the bhakta he assumes forms. The bhakta feels. Therefore God reveals himself to him as a person. But the jnani is neti neti. Through this discrimination he realizes by his inner perception that the ego and the universe are both illusory like a dream. Then the jnani realizes Brahman in his own consciousness. He cannot describe that Brahman is, what Brahman is. Now he is telling the story of a person. He was sleeping. Then he suddenly, his wife came, jerked him and say, how can you sleep? Our son has died. Then the gentleman got up from the sleep, very quietly went, saw the dead body of the son and sitting over there. Then that made her mad. She was telling, how can you be a father who is not even wailing, crying, seeing your son dead just before you? Then quietly he said, no, what happened, when I was sleeping, I was seeing a dream. And in that dream, I was a king. And I had 7 sons. Now when you pushed me, that dream broke. And I felt I am only having 1 son. Now those 7 sons are also gone. This one son, he has also gone. Now I am thinking, for whom shall I cry? For those 7 or for this one? This is Jnani. Now who can do that? So this is the reason the jnana means constantly walking on the razor's edge. It's not very ordinary thing. The people may say, they may quote, but this is very, very, very difficult to practice. Sri Ramakrishna is asking us that it is better to practice bhakti. Do you know what I mean? Think of Brahman, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, as a shoreless ocean. Through the cooling influence, as it were, of the bhakta's love, the water has frozen as places into blocks of ice. How he is explaining? It's an ocean and it has no boundary, such a big ocean, but suddenly we find that there are blocks of ice floating. The ice coming from what? From the water. Ice when melts, what happened? Water. So water has taken the shape of the ice. In other words, God now and then assumes various forms for his lovers and reveals himself to them as a person. That solves all the problem. If we think like that, it solves all the problem. Only what we have to think that I like formless form of God. And for that, This is my sadhana. Whatever happens in my life, I am not going to complain to anyone, not even to God, because I know I am absolute. I am the Brahman. I am not born. I cannot die. I don't have any body. I don't have any relation. And this whole world is nothing but the Chaitanya. If I can think like that, that is for you. But don't blame others. Oh, this man. Those usually good in mathematics, they take the science. In school days, college days, it happens. They look down upon the others who are reading English or some those. Oh, acha, you are, that's okay. Like this. No, it is not. Suppose he becomes a great poet, then what will happen? That also a great path. That way also one can become very famous. Similarly, those who are following the path of jnana, they always think bhakti, oh, it is useless. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, every evening he used to beat his both the hands and take the name of Mother. Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Even now, if you go in the early morning, just because of the too much of people, it's very difficult. But when we were young people, we used to go to Dakshineshwar only to see the Mangalarati. Early morning, no one was there, only the pujari or a few people of that, and they are beating the drums and the big light, and they are all chanting Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Whole building and the temple is throbbing. Beautiful. Only Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Sri Ramakrishna in the evening time used to do Jai Ma, Jai Ma. His guru, Totapuri, a jnani, Brahmagyani, he saw it and how he behaved. That was the system. The jnana margis, they always to look down upon this type of bhakta. Hey, kyun roti thokte ho? So because in the northern side, they usually prepare the chapatis, the rotis by putting hands like this. So, kyun roti thokte ho? Why you are making a chapati? Then the Sri Ramakrishna, his disciple became very angry. What? I am taking the name of Mother and you are telling I am preparing the roti. This way, they used to now, all these things have been solved in the name of Sri Ramakrishna. He is the personality, a person manifested as a parliament of religions. When the people they are talking about religion, if they are not biased, when they are talking about the unity in diversity, if they are not biased, when we are having the parliament of religions coming together to develop some way so that all people can live at peace and can make the progress, if we are not biased, we must take the path of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And that is the complete answer. Thank you friends for coming. In the next day again, we will study the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Now take our pranam, offer our pranam to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa drita vigraham vai Ishavattaram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Even in this pranam mantra, in these wonderful words that they have used, he who is formless is taking the form only for the benefit of the devotees. Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam. Then Bhaktanukampa Drita Vigraham Vai. For the benefit of the devotees, taking the form, the shape.